Hi, welcome back. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you a beginner-friendly makeup tutorial. So this is for all the girls out there who maybe don't feel that confident in doing their makeup, or you don't really like makeup, but you want to have like that one go-to makeup look that you know will look good for anything and is really easy to achieve. So this is going to be that look for you. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off just by pulling my hair back so that it's out of my face before we get started. And then I'm going to show you my very easy beginner-friendly makeup that all of you can do, and you can make this like as dramatic or as simple as you want. So really it can work for any occasion, whether it's something like fancy or just you want it to be more casual. You can really make this look into anything that you want. But we're going to keep it very simple and very easy so that you can get used to it and yeah, develop your makeup skills from there. The most important part, I would say, for any makeup look though is going to be like your skin prep. You want to make sure that your skin is hydrated and feeling good before you actually start going in with makeup. So what I like to do is take like a facial spray. Sometimes I use just regular rose water. This one's really good and this is cheap. You can get this at like Meijer, Walmart, Target, anything like that. Or I just recently started using this one from Tower 28, which is a facial spray with hypochlorous acid. So I think this one's more like skincare focused, and it's supposed to like help prevent breakouts and like bacteria on your skin. Whereas this one is more just for hydrating. So I'm going to use this one today. So I just spray my face and I let that dry. I already did all my other skincare, but these two I would say are the most important part, and I like to do this before I add makeup. So next is moisturizer, and I'm going to use the Bubble Power Moisturizer. I just take a little bit of that to kind of refresh my skin and make sure it's very hydrated before going in with any other products. I just filmed the whole first step and I wasn't recording the whole time, so we're going to backtrack. The first step is going to be your base makeup. You could put a primer on before this if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary if you had a good skin prep to begin with. If you have primer, definitely use it, but if you don't have it, it's not that big of a deal. You don't need to go out and buy primer just to achieve this look. Just prep your skin so it's nice and hydrated, and then go in with your complexion product. For today, I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. You can use whatever you have at home, whether it's like a foundation or a skin tint or something glowy like this. Anything will work, so you don't need to use exactly what I'm using. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I already put it on, that's what wasn't recording, but I'm going to put on just a little bit more. So I'm going to take that and then just put that all over my face. And then to blend it out, again, use what you have at home. You could use a sponge for this or a brush. I have been liking using this brush lately from Refi Beauty. I feel like this blends out my product really well, especially this product from e.l.f. So I'm going to take that and just start working that all over my face. And then this is just going to be the base of my makeup and the, I guess, start to the rest of the look. I prefer a glowy product because I have very dry skin. If you don't have dry skin and you like something more matte, then by all means use that. Next up, we're going in with concealer, and today I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal. I love this concealer. It's a really good affordable drugstore concealer, so if you are looking for a concealer and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I would definitely recommend this one. It's really good and it's very full coverage, and their shade range is amazing, so this is great. Anyway, we're going to take just a little bit of this and put it on like the most important spots on your face. The concealer doesn't have to be like a really long crazy step. What I like to do is focus it, 1, on my under eyes, and then 2, just on any spots where I have like acne or I'm breaking out. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit just right here under my under eyes to cover up any discoloration that I have. And I like to put a little bit on the outside of, like, the outer corner of my eyes. And then I do have a few little pimples that I just want to cover up. And then I also will put a little bit like around my mouth and then on the bridge of my nose like that. Now to blend this, I like to use a concealer brush, but if you don't have one, not a big deal. You could even take just any like smaller compact brush that you have and use that. Or you could use the sponge that you used before, your finger even if you needed to. It doesn't really matter. This is just what I prefer. So I'm going to take this and then start blending out that concealer. And I blend the product that I put on the inner corner with the outer corner of my eye, so it all kind of like meets together, and I blend it up towards my temple, and this will help just give your face like a lifted look just based on how you blend it out. And then for the nose, I just start at the bottom and just start blending up towards the top. And then around my mouth, same thing. I just blend that out slowly. And then I just go in and conceal all the pimples or breakouts that I have until that's all blended in. After concealer, we're going in with bronzer. I prefer to use a cream bronzer because I have dry skin, but if you like powder bronzer better or that's all you have, it will work just the same. Basically, this step is going to be to bring color back to our face after putting on like foundation and then concealer. And the one that I am going to use today is from Rare Beauty. This is the Bright Side Bronzer Stick in the shade... No, this is the bronzer stick in the shade Bright Side. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right here, like on my cheekbone, I guess, or like just below on both sides, and then also my forehead up towards the top to contour that. And then I also take it and put a little bit on my nose as well, just to shape that. And then next part is very important. I put a little bit of this on the outer corner of my eyelid. 1, to add color to my eyes, and then 2, this is going to basically be the base to our eye look for today. And now to blend that, I love this e.l.f. Duo Complexion Brush, and I take the big side, fluffy side, and I just start blending that out and just kind of like tapping it into my face. You don't want to like rub it back and forth to blend it. You more want to like tap it in so that it like disperses evenly around your face. So I just start with my cheek, and then whatever is left over on the brush from that, I take that and just run it on my jawline just to contour that a little bit and make my jawline look sharper. And then I do the same thing up here on my forehead. Again, just tapping that in. I'm not like rubbing it or like, I don't know what you'd call this motion. I'm just tapping it all over my face. Or all over my forehead, I should say. And then I do the same thing all the way around the, I guess like outside of my face, until it's all blended in. Once that is all blended, then I work on this part of my face. So I take the smaller side and I just start blending out the nose and bringing that up like into the inner part of my eye. Eventually this will all connect together, but I just focus on blending this out here. Once that's pretty much blended, I'm going to take the big side again and I'm going to blend out the outer part of my eye where that bronzer is, and I'm going to start bringing it up towards my temple. This will just make this area of your face look more lifted, and then it will all blend together but also add some color to your eyelid. After the bronzer is all blended, the next thing I go in with is blush. Similar to the bronzer, if you want to use powder blush, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't really matter. I prefer cream products though because my face is so dry. So I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. liquid camo liquid blush in the shade Dusty Rose. With liquid blushes though, they do tend to be very pigmented. So what I like to do is take some of it, put it on the back of my hand like that, and then I just kind of like rub it around. And then I'm going to take my blush brush, and I'm going to be using this one today. This is from Amazon. And I dip that into the product on the back of my hand, and then I apply it to my cheeks. I really focus it from here up. And I like to bring that up towards my temple and just kind of like blend it on the very outer corner of my eye, kind of where I was blending out the bronzer, the hair on my face. Just to bring that like all together. And I'm not really going to do eyeshadow, so this kind of just again adds to the eyes without doing like extra work. And then another thing I like to do is I take whatever's left over on the brush and I just kind of lightly pat that under my under eyes, and that really just helps blend everything together so that it's not like white and then a really pink cheek. It kind of just lightly helps all of that blend together, almost giving the effect of using like a pink under eye powder, but I'm not doing that. I'm just taking a little bit of blush. And then I do the same thing on the other side. By putting it on the back of your hand, it just helps like diffuse the product out so it's not so like intense when you put it on your cheeks, and that you don't like overuse it, because there's been so many times where I start applying this stuff specifically and I do way too much and then I look crazy. And then I also just like to take a little bit and put that on my nose just so that it all kind of like blends together. And I love when my cheeks look really pink. Last step for complexion is highlighter. You don't have to add highlighter if you don't want, but I personally love highlighter, so I don't like to skip this step. The one that I'm using today is from the drugstore. It's the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter, and this is one of my all-time favorite highlighters. It's really subtle and it's very affordable, but it looks really good on the skin. I am going to take this brush right here and dip into the product, and when I put highlighter on, I like to keep it up on the high points of my face, like the high points of my cheekbones. This is going to make your makeup look even more lifted and just kind of like highlight the high points of your face, which I think it gives like the best effect and it looks very subtle. So I just start there, and then I do like to go right below my brow bone, above the brow bone, and then my nose. Now, if you're feeling really crazy and you feel like this eye, like the eye makeup is lacking, which we didn't really do much, we just used products that we were already using on the eyes. What I do sometimes is I'll take a little bit of highlighter and just kind of lightly put that on my eyelid, and then it just kind of like adds a little bit of shimmer. If you wanted this look to be more intense, you could take like a shimmery eyeshadow and just run that on your eyelid to kind of like make it pop even more, but it kind of just depends on what you're going for. Typically, I just leave the eyes like this, but if I'm feeling crazy, I'll add a little bit of highlighter. Moving on to eyebrows, I keep my eyebrows really simple. I just take this e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift pencil and I just brush them, and then I fill in only the bare spots of my eyebrows. If you don't like filling in your eyebrows, just skip this part. I just like to fill in like this area right here because I feel like it's a little bit bare. So I just lightly fill that in, and then I use the spoolie to kind of blend it out. Now, after I fill them in a little, I feel like this is the more important step, which is brow gel. And I just use this clear brow gel to fluff up my eyebrows. And this just helps them stay in place all day as well. And this is an affordable product, and you can use it for a lot of different things. You can use it for your eyelashes too, but I just always use it on my brows. It's clear and it just holds them down. And I really like to focus that kind of on the outer part, and I like to make my eyebrows go more out than down, just again to make my face look more lifted. Last step for the eyes is mascara. The first step I feel like to getting the perfect mascara without having to use fake lashes or anything like that is curling your eyelashes. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you have is an eyelash curler. I feel like this is so important. So I'm going to take that and just curl my lashes. Sometimes I go over them a few times just to make sure they're nice and curled how I like them. And then once they're curled how I like, I go in with mascara. The mascara I'm using today is my favorite mascara probably of all time, which is the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This is what the brush looks like. I feel like this just lengthens the lashes so good. So I'm going to take that and just start applying it to my top lashes. And you just do as many coats as you want until you get them looking as full and as long as you want. And then I always take it and put it on my bottom lashes as well. Just try to be careful so you don't get it on your skin. Last step is lips, and I'm going to be using 3 products today. Honestly, you could probably just use 2 if you wanted to keep it simple, but I'm a little bit extra, so I'm going to be using 3. But the first one, which is the most important, is a lip tint. I like using lip tints because they stay on longer than regular like lipstick. So you can put this on at the beginning of the day or whatever, and then it's going to last you a lot longer than a lipstick. So you don't need to keep reapplying. So that's why I prefer a lip tint. This one is from Essence. It's super affordable. It's basically a dupe for the Benefit Benetint. But what I do is I just take this and I put it all over my lips, basically like you would apply lipstick or any other lip product. And it'll look super intense right away, but you let it sit on your lips for probably about 30 seconds, I would say. After it's been on for like 30 seconds or whatever, take just like a paper towel or something and just wipe that off. And it'll make it less intense. The longer that you let it sit on, the more color you're gonna get. So you can kind of do what you want with that. But next step, which I would say is probably optional, is lip liner. I like to go in with lip liner, and I like to use this one from NYX in the shade Natural. It's a really close match to my lip color, so I just like to do it to add a little something and kind of overline. And then I just take my finger and kind of blend that out. And then lastly for lips is gloss. I am just using this lip oil that I got from Amazon, and I'm just taking that and putting it all over my lips to add some shine. Okay, and that completes this beginner makeup look. I feel like this makeup look is really nice because you can use it if you have like a upscale event to go to, or if you're just doing something casual, and you can add layers to it to like make it more intense, like adding more eyeshadow, different lip combo, something like that to really elevate it, or you can just keep it plain and simple. But I really tried to use affordable products in this because I know not everyone wants to spend their money on makeup and, you know, might not have access to like really high-end makeup. So I tried to use as much drugstore products as I could to make it easier and just to show you that you can achieve a really cute makeup look with affordable products. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And I really tried to focus on like the techniques that I was using, because I feel like that honestly makes the biggest difference, is making sure your technique is right, and then you can get most products to look good on your skin. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!